this is the recreation. There's no extra hardware on there at the moment, but what I have done is I attach a battery to this. I've updated the code a bit, so if I turn it on, you can see it's coming up with a Psion copyright message, followed by, after a while, the main menu for an XP. So this has got 3.3 XP ROM embedded in the Pico, in the code here, and it's running the emulator that I wrote a while back, which up until now I've only run on the command line, but it's now outputting to the display. Unfortunately, keyboard doesn't work yet. I need to sort that out, but if I can get the keyboard working, the display's obviously working, and that will be a sort of basic organiser without the slots. So there's a few characters here which are a little bit odd. I don't really know why they're there at the moment. I'm currently running this upside down, so I have to, because of the way that it's mechanically mounted in the case, everything's actually upside down, and I've taken the by display demo code, fixed a couple of bugs. There was a timing problem which meant that it didn't work too well with my particular hardware setup, probably because of the tracks and maybe some noise or something. And also the setting the column position didn't actually work if you used a column position other than 0. So I fixed that, and now I can actually draw as I want to on the display. And it's a graphics display, so everything, the text is not a character set, it's just dots, and there's a font inside the code and so on. So next steps, look at the keyboard, see if I can get that working. Hopefully I can. So it runs off battery. That's a rechargeable PP3. What I've got here is actually, this is attached to USB. There's a USB plug on the other end of this, and that means there's 5 volts coming out of this. So if I connect that up like that, press the on button, it runs. So this can actually run off 5 volts on the battery connections, which I'm not too surprised at. There's some low dropout regulators going down to 3.3 for the Pico, 5 volts. There's a 5 volt regulator, and that seems to be low enough dropout that everything works. So it's quite handy being able to run it just off 5 volts. And it also means if the battery runs down to 5 volts, it'll carry on working. The 12 volts for the OLED display comes from this DC-DC converter here, so that doesn't care. I think that will run down to something like 2 volts or something, 2.5 volts. So it's going to be much more convenient having some sort of mains powered adapter there. I did wire up the external power into the top slot, but obviously I haven't got that board here, so can't run it off that, so I'm just going straight in off here, which is fine. So it's sort of half an organiser, isn't it? Because it's got the display and it's running the code, it's just there's no keyboard.